Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
What's up, everybody?
Good morning.
Yo, what up?
What's up,
Hey,
Joel?
Joel.
Long time no talk, everybody.
We got the world's most handsome competitive eater on with us.
I don't know about that, but definitely a guy that eats too much food, put it that way.
So what's new, Joel? What's been going on?
I've been busy living life, but take it day by day. I'll put it this way. One really cool thing, because we're all talking, health, fitness, and stuff, which I follow you guys every week here. But so I recently got like a Libre, like the CGM, the freestyle thing. Man, I know it's like, so I'm not diabetic, but it has been so helpful for me in identifying sleep issues and when I feel off, and like it's been, I love it. I really love it. It's like $100, so worth it.
Yeah, I have one too. I've been on it for a few months. It's wild how you can see how your sleep really affects your glucose control. Like when I literally yesterday just ate protein the whole day. That's it. I only ate protein, and my glucose was all over the place because I didn't sleep.
Interesting. Yeah. For me, I've been having this thing where, like, let's say I go to bed, I don't know, let's say midnight. I'll sleep really good till, like, let's say about 7 a.m. But then I just, like, I can't, it's almost like I'm half asleep. I have to pee like 30 times in like between like right away. And so I've been monitoring, and I was able to see where, like, come, let's say, I don't know, between 5 and 6 or 7 or whatever, I have a huge low. And then I'm obviously, like, due to like probably like a cortisol dump and whatever, gluconeogenesis, and like I'm having, my blood sugar raised back up. And then I'm like, I've identified when, I'm basically like having this sleep issue thing. So it's like, it can be really telling in ways you never thought. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's in non-diabetics, it's called the dawn phenomenon. People will go hypo when and you'll see it in diabetics too, where it's called the Somogyi effect in diabetics, but you'll actually go, like, I'll see it with I'll go hypo in the middle of the night, or like more usually closer to the morning, and then you'll see it dip down into the 50s, and then you have this huge spike, and it's your liver dumping glycogen. Your body releases glucagon, and then you have this just effect, and it's a stress response, and then you wake up. You get, you have this, because of that happens. It's like almost like this adrenaline rush, and it'll wake you up.
100%, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing, the things you can find. So
I'll see it on guys on contest prep. It gets worse when they get towards the end of contest prep. Because guys will end up going hypo, and they have like this reaction, and where they wake up in the morning and their fasting glucose levels are super high, and they're like, man, what the fuck is wrong? I'm like, not eating any food, and my glucose levels are high in the morning, and it's from going hypo while they sleep. Yeah. Because they don't really have they're not eating a lot, and then they have that issue. And you'll also see it towards the end of contest prep, where guys will just start randomly going hypo for no reason too. Because there's no glycogen left.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I like first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, my bad. I was just gonna say, you can imagine how confusing that is to people that don't have a CGM, that are waking up and only getting that one reading, but over the morning, when you see it drop down, then come back up, it's painting that picture of the dawn effect. So it gives you quite the explanation.
Yeah, I will tell people to grab a CGM. It's just kind of like the Libre is more expensive. I think it's the best, in my opinion. That's the one I have. There's oh God, what's the cheap one? Lingo's the cheap one you can get. I think it's like $50 a month. It's pretty cheap. You can get. I think it's like $200 for a 3-month supply. So you can grab. People want to grab one, but it's pretty enlightening.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So for,
seems
So
pretty
for
what's
me,
been the
where sorry, I was saying, yeah, so for me, like that, because that's exactly what I was able to like use it for. Because I've had this issue over the winter, and I had it because I would wake up with high blood glucose but totally normal otherwise, and then I kind of put it aside for a while. But now, like with this, I like kind of guarantee slash identify like this is what's going on. And just like for me, that's like, again, totally well worth it. Like now I know exactly why I'm seeing these blood glucose changes. And or like, again, I think it's like, if you for some reason have any like speculation, I really think it's a game changer. So yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see it too. Like when people are just gassed out from pushing prep too hard too. When cortisol gets high, you'll see an increase in blood glucose too. A lot of times you'll see it. Amy, I think that's you. We can hear typing.
Mm-mm,
No,
not me.
Sounded like somebody was typing.
I know, but it's not me.
Yeah, I hear a
I
crunching.
hear it's like
sound.
crunchy.
I hear it too.
Yeah, I hear
Maybe.
crunches.
Is it you, Mike?
No.
All right, I'm gonna mute somebody, and we're gonna find out. It's not Joel, or maybe it was Joel.
It was Joel.
Yeah, it's coming from you, Joel.
Maybe his connection a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, yep.
maybe I'll.
yeah. Maybe drop off and come back.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I'll let me get it.
yeah, it's coming from you. I'm gonna mute you,
One
man.
sec.
Yeah,
Sound like somebody. I thought it was Amy typing. I was blaming Amy.
Maybe he put a TikTok video up this morning. So it sounds like the kind of bubbles you get when people are viewing your video on TikTok.
Oh man, yeah. Another week and more fake master on people. It's been crazy, man. The people reaching out to me about fake master on. It's I don't know what I can and can't say on YouTube, but just be on the lookout for master on people. I've had multiple people have their preps fucked up because of fake master on.
Myself included. Yeah, I pretty consistently have seen the side effects that would be consistent with DECA subside since I stopped. So
Yep.
pretty sure what I got was DECA.
Yeah, and I actually had another guy have his stuff actually test out as DECA. So like a lot of it, what I've seen has been actually test prep. And I get people a bunch of times saying like, man, or like I've been having trouble with people just being watery on prep, having people having gyno issues on prep. And I'm like, that should not be happening on prep with us smashing estrogen with the DHT derived PEDs and pulling tests down. Something's not right. Something's gone wrong.
Yeah, must be frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, nothing sucks worse than to do a whole prep and then your prep gets screwed up because you got fake gear.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like I probably lost a week.
Well, at least we caught it before the show.
Well, we caught it pretty quick too.
no,
Yeah.
Mike, you just pulled it. You just pulled out what you thought was mast, and all the symptoms went away of the water retention.
Mm-hmm. Water retention, nipple sensitivity, all of the, I don't really get aggro. It's not a thing for me. And DECA is one of those things where at high doses that I can get a little snappy.
Yeah,
And twisted off of my wife about the swimming pool. So I was like, ooh, I better call her and apologize right now.
yeah.
Yeah, don't be mean, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm usually just mean to dudes at the gym on prep.
Yeah. Well,
Guys,
that's one thing. It's another thing when you start being mean to the people you love. That's when,
Yeah.
that's when it's an issue.
For me, it's people supersetting or talking on the phone on or playing with their phone while they're on a machine I'm waiting for.
How does how's your food, Mike? Your food get really low right now? I was kind of curious of how deep you got to dig on your diet.
Well, a couple weeks ago, before we figured out the Masteron thing, I did a protein sparing modified fast, which is something I've gotten really good at saying over the last few weeks. And I haven't
still
messed the
can't do it.
acronym up in like 5 or 6 days at least. PSMF.
I have to say
And,
it very slowly.
Yeah. So, and that was actually, I felt like it was pretty effective. And, but that's as hard as we had to dig. It was like the last week where Paul said, well, let's dig deep this week and then we can figure out from there. I was ready to go again just to, try to get my glutes to come in a little better. But with everything that was going on, I was going on the antibiotics. I ended up taking a little diet break, like that. Not a real diet break, but just like kind of doing like 250 gram medium days for 4 or 5 days with no cardio.
Yeah.
At the direction of my coach.
Yeah. That sounds like that'd be a good time to do it right there. So you're not just running in place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Amy. I forget that you're on top of it.
We got a question for Joel, if we don't mind taking one.
Go
Since he
for
can
it.
stay the whole time.
Let's do
I've
it.
never heard of these. From Connor Burton Training. Do you know of any professional eater, Zermatt Neo or Kobayashi?
Yeah. No, I know Zermatt. I've eaten with him. Obviously, I know who Kobayashi is. I don't know him personally, but yeah, I pretty much met and know all the kind of eaters out there on the circuit, or have.
Kobayashi is the legend, right? He's the hot dog guy.
Yeah, he was the legend. So kind of what the story behind him, because most people know, like, he's a Japanese guy, just ate all these hot dogs. What he did is basically he took, let's say back in probably 2005 or something, he took the old record and doubled it by separating the hot dog and the bun, which is he was like the founder of modern hot dog eating. As weird as that sounds. Yeah.
Wow.
Lucas said you have a video with Zermatt.
Yeah, I've seen that Kobayashi guy. You would never expect how much food the guy can eat. I mean, he's probably like $160 or something. Smaller dude.
No, there's some gentlemen one I know a guy named Matt Stoney. He's 130 pounds, man. He can eat it's insane. There's the biggest thing is it's your stomach, right? Your stomach's a muscle. You can stretch it. You can't just assume by someone's size how much they can eat.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy. Just sometimes you have the odd anomaly. The 180 pound guy you can bench 700 pounds or something. So it's pretty crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
But never with his back flat on the bench.
my dad's a little dude. He's like 150, 160 pounds, and he can out eat me. I don't really eat that much for a big guy.
And the truth is, I wouldn't recommend it. Some people are like, how do I eat more? I'm like, why do you want to eat more? If it's something for, again, you need to get more calories in for bodybuilding, something's a purpose. But for some reason, I find some people want to just be oh, I just want to be able to eat more food. I'm like, no, you don't. That's not a good thing. Because everything, you get used to it, and it can lead to, problems down the road. So don't eat overly large portions, everybody. Eat what you need to. We'll put it that way.
Speaking of eating large portions, here's Roman.
Oh, sorry.
My bad. What's up? Roman could give a professional eater a run for their money.
I don't know. I hate being full.
I remember Roman's story of eating 40 apples a day or something like that.
Yep, that's my favorite. I love that.
The things
I love that all the girls at
games.
your school thought that
Yeah,
was the key to losing weight. 30 apples a day.
Roman was the sugar diet before the sugar diet existed.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's why he's successful.
Can you hear me this? Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was really surprised the other day. They have these video screens that play these giant workout videos in Cult Fitness here, and I'm always looking up and seeing people that I know, right? But I'm I had to double take because they had Katina in there, who's a competitive. I don't know if she's a competitive eater, but she travels around, does all the eating challenges. She also makes
Oh,
fitness
yeah.
videos. And so she's a tiny little thing, and who's in good physical condition. What the heck? There we go.
She's pretty built. I gotta give it to Katina, man. She may be like, I don't know, let's say 5'2" or 5'3", but she's built, man. She's not.
Yeah, she's strong.
Like I wouldn't call her a small, maybe like small stature wise, like height wise, but she's built, man. She's a really nice girl as well. Actually, Mike, you got and Paul, I got a question. Because I know Mike, you're in Vegas now, if I'm not mistaken, and Paul, Amy was mentioning you're in Vegas at the end of the month. Is that right?
Potentially, yep. For the USA's.
Okay, cool. Maybe I might be around the same time, so if I do, I'll make sure I reach out.
Here's Katina. Let me see. Yeah, she looks like she lifts.
Yeah, she does.
Katina eats
What's
kilos.
Oh, you don't follow her
What?
already? Oh, she's cool. Yeah.
What's the little Japanese guy's name? Kobayashi or something?
We were just talking about him.
Oh, okay.
Kobayashi. Yeah. All right, I'm going to follow.
I got another
Katina.
one. I got another one for you, Joel. This is from Rise 41. Joel,
Sure.
What is the hardest challenge you've done or one that stands out in your mind?
So the hardest challenge is it's really hard to decide and to pick because there's been probably about a dozen that have equally killed me, and I've done like about over 1,000 at this point. But some of the most horrible ones to memory. There was a time I ate like this absolutely massive, probably like 190-ounce prime rib steak thing. That was horrendous. One time I ate a great big donair. That was horrendous. Basically anything large. I can go on. Pancakes, anything. Yeah, there's don't recommend it.
That spicy chicken sandwich looked rough.
Which one? Yeah, no, there's been a few of those, my friend. There's been a few of those.
Well, that's a good follow-up to that is from Scott. What challenges give you the worst indigestion after?
So actually, speaking of which, I'd probably say, so I'll start by saying it's not standardized. Just like on your day-to-day, for some reason, like let's say you eat, I don't know, burritos a lot, but for some reason one day it just doesn't sit well. So there's like that kind of like randomness to it. But I mean, like that time I just mentioned that great big steak thing, man, I felt that in my stomach for like 3 days. So I tried to go to the hospital, but they couldn't do anything. I was like, it was horrible. So yeah, like any large amount of meat or anything which takes a long time to digest is just uncomfortable.
Well, we were made to kill.
So what do you do there? Do you take like extra fiber or something like that?
I mean,
That's what Scott wants to know too. What are your tips for getting back to normal?
So you need to eat fiber just to keep things moving, but you can't you also got to realize fiber is also slow to digest. So you need some, but you can't just eat a lot of veggies, and it's not like you're just gonna get it out. Like it's not how your stomach works. You know what I mean? The food has to digest in the stomach and go its course. So tips for getting back to normal quickly, I would say just don't do it to start. Don't overeat to start. And then if you do, also, I think most people, maybe they don't realize is like, if I'm going to eat a big meal in a day, it's not like I'm eating prior, and it's not like I'm eating afterwards and the first thing in the morning or anything. You know what I mean? So you just got to give your body time, fluids time, and, let it work.
You don't use digestive enzymes and things like that?
I've tried literally even prescription pancreatic enzymes and stuff, and I just don't think now and again we're talking in true excess, right? If you have a big meal standardly, I think the prescription grade help. I think anything over the counter is absolute garbage. But even the prescription grade in really high amounts.
You're muffled, Joel. Oh, there we go. You were muffled. No, I can't hear you now. You're muffled. I don't know if you might have your hand over the microphone. No, can't hear you.
No.
I saw Roman roll his eyes on the
Digestive enzymes.
Digestive enzymes. I don't think they do shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Not unless you take a bunch of them.
yeah,
I
we
mean, you
talked
got-
about that. If anything, you have to take like specific
Specific ones.
and then really, really nail that one. Like
Right.
I made an experiment with the digestive enzymes of the supplement company that sponsors me. So I just tripled the dose, and that means I had 18 capsules a day of those, and I still didn't feel a difference.
Wow.
So
I would assume that you'd have to have a deficiency in the digestive enzymes for them to even be of any help to begin with.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
oh yeah, much better.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I don't know what you heard, just to summarize, but yeah, no, I'm with Roman. So I've like anything over the counter digestive enzyme wise is absolute waste, in my opinion, absolute garbage. Even at the pharmaceutical level of like true pancreatic enzymes, I mean, they will help, but only to so much. I mean, if you eat like a 2 or 3 pound meal and you take a couple, that's going to help. But like if you're eating like 5 pounds or more, there's nothing you can do, like nothing. So to be honest, I don't think they're worth it for the average person and or worth the cost. So
Joel has not been to the Brazilian steakhouse with us.
not with
Wow.
you guys. Not with you guys.
It's only 3 to 5 pounds of meat, really?
I mean, that's a lot of meat. I think that the average person doesn't eat, like a lot of people overestimate how much the average person can eat in a sitting, but a lot of people can't eat more than probably like maybe 2 pounds comfortably.
Right. We should get Joel to do Roman's carb up in 2 hours. As his next challenge.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be a good one.
You know,
Have you ever done the burrito at Sayulitas here in Las Vegas?
pardon me, which one, Mike?
Sayulitas, Sayulipas.
Yeah, no, I haven't, because like back in the day, I don't know if it still is or not, but like it was never actually, like, at least the time, it wasn't a challenge. So you'd have to just like, I don't know, pay $100 or whatever for this great big burrito, and I'm like, that's not. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. Yeah.
I have to be honest, Joel. The place you went in Japan that had the unlimited sushi, that was kind of like, it was the nicer place. Like that is on my list of places to visit. Like, oh my gosh, like
Amy,
that
if you're
looked
talking,
incredible.
if you're talking the all you can eat, I literally had a private sushi chef basically for like 2 hours.
Yes,
And, like,
it looked amazing.
I'm talking like I could reach out and touch the man. That's how close he was. And that was life-changing sushi experience. So
Is that the Sayulitas?
Yeah.
Those French fries in there.
It looks like there's everything in there.
yeah, like,
Joel.
to me, it just turns rubbish. Like if someone's gonna put French fries in a burrito, I'm like, sorry, you're just trying to fill that up. That's disgusting.
Just filler.
That's not a
Joel,
burrito. That's a
Where was that sushi place?
in Tokyo.
Where was the sushi place? Oh, in Tokyo?
Yeah.
It looked amazing. Like
What
all
was it
those
called?
quail
What was it
eggs.
called?
I would have to get you the name. I don't remember the pronunciation, but I have a whole video on it. It is truly. Let me see if I can get the thing. I don't know if I can put it in the chat here. I'll get a link. It is truly amazing.
I'll hit you up on Instagram.
Yeah,
It looked
do it.
It looked amazing.
I'm finding the video.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, there
I
you
found
go.
it.
You found it, Paul?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, because it's
Is that it?
Link to the
That's the one.
Links in the chat if you need it. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that works. That's not the. Yeah. That's on the more. That works. Yeah. The main video is the link I gave you in the description, but it's pretty much the same video. That's on one of my other channels. But yeah, this was like stupid good.
Oh, it looks great.
Life changing. In fact. So.
I was in Tokyo for the Japan Pro in 2023, and I couldn't find good sushi places.
So, the funny thing about it, Roman, is surprisingly, sashimi is really not as big of a thing in Japan or Tokyo as I would have thought it would have been. Whereas the nigiri is the thing. So everywhere is nigiri. It's a little less sashimi, which in North America is obviously very, very, very popular and common. But this place, if you ever go back to Tokyo, anybody go here and do the all you can eat. It is the most worth it thing ever. It was great.
Yeah, I'm going in November.
Yeah. It's funny. They also do it's the only one of the few restaurants I've ever seen too that there's a higher price for men than women. But
it's smart.
Just go and it is the best thing ever. Yeah, best. Yeah.
They need to charge Roman by the pound.
Yeah.
Dude, if they charged me by the pound, I would have been broke. No, I'm just kidding. It's great.
It says $70. Is that what it's what it says on your video?
I think it was about $70. Yeah, it was so worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad, man. You pay $100 in sushi easy.
Roman,
when you order.
The thing is, man, I don't remember how many pieces I ate, but I probably 150 some pieces. It was insane. And everything was quality, man. And they had things like mantis shrimp. If you don't know, they're so expensive anyway. I had fatty tuna with quail eggs on it. It was life changing.
Oh man, I love Otoro.
Yeah.
Very good.
Joel, do you have time for another one?
Yeah, I got probably 2 minutes, so feel free to ask any questions, everybody.
Perfect. This might be the last one from George. How is your appetite, hunger, and eating habits on the regular? Does your hunger cue get messed up in any way with the eating challenges?
So the short answer is yes. The long answer is, so like I said, if you get used to eating larger portions, you get used to eating larger portions. So for me to feel I'll use the term satiated, I probably have to at least eat probably about 3-ish pounds. And now the problem with that is that often though my body and inclination will probably want to eat more towards 5 or 6. So I have to be very, very, very mindful not to. And again, these foods that I'm eating, they're not unhealthy foods. I mean, I can eat I'll eat a couple pounds of fruit and vegetables and stuff a day by all means. But yeah, I do have to be very cognizant. So like I said, I don't ever recommend eating large amounts. And then also the thing of hunger has definitely been partly dissociated as well. So.
But can you do 2 pounds of fruit covered in honey and Cabbage Patch Kids?
to be honest, my serving of a pineapple, which the pineapples I buy, I weigh them out, average about 1,200 grams edible product. That's a serving of pineapple for me. So that's about 3 pounds of pineapple. I think but the problem is, like I said, is so to me, I'll just eat that in one sitting, and I'll feel totally and again, this is the thing, right? So there's a difference between feeling satiated and feeling full, right? So my stomach will, my body will still want to eat more. So that's why, even if I just have a pineapple and let's say, I don't know, some chicken, let's say it's a pound of chicken and a thing of pineapple, that's 4 pounds. So, yeah. But no, the long story short is yes, because a food is a food, no matter really the volume. So, yeah.
What is that?
How much pineapple would kill my taste buds for the rest of the day? That would
Oh yeah.
No, it would make your tongue bleed.
Yeah.
Bromelain or whatever it's in it.
I'll actually have sometimes where if I eat because I eat at least a pineapple a day if I can. I love it. It's my favorite fruit, and I'll have to put Vaseline and stuff on the side of my mouth because it'll eat it. I'm not kidding. Yeah, you got to protect your skin.
What does that do to your glucose levels on the glucose meter?
Yeah, so because I got this one in Canada, so I'm going to give in Canadian terms. You have to do this conversion. So let's say I'm fasted and I'm sitting and I did this about 3 or 4 times this past week, so it's very accurate. So let's say I'm fasted and I'm sitting at I don't know, let's say a 4.3 or 4.6. If I eat about 220 grams of carbohydrates, and even if that's pure sugar from fruit, it'll go up to about an 8, maybe touch a 9, and then within like an hour, it's back down probably like a 5. Yeah. So luckily, I'm pretty insulin sensitive, I guess, or responsive.
Yeah, so 8 would be 144. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's very good.
Especially for like 200, like to eat like 200 some grams of like pure sugar, and that like from fruit, and then like I said, to be and to be honest though, but then that's only if I'm like fasted. If I eat that same from like not fasted already, the spike is a lot less. Because I guess I already have some insulin kind of, obviously in the background working on the other food, and then digestion will be slowed, right? So
yeah, I get that from just drinking a cup of coffee.
yeah.
Joel, do you do any fasting or anything else someone wants to know?
I mean, I like there's times where like, again, just like I said, based on like eating meals and timing, where like you call it inadvertent intermittent fasting, but like it's not like I ever am just like, I'm not going to eat for a week. Like, no, I don't do that.
So it's inadvertent intermittent fasting.
An interesting type of meal timing all at once. You give OMAD, like new meaning to the OMAD diet.
So do you have like one place where you've ate where you're like, wow, this food is so good that everybody needs to try this?
Yeah, you're muted, Joel.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a tough question. I mean, that sushi restaurant in Tokyo would be one, but like you got to be, if you're a little more specific, like Mike, like I use an example, like 2 of my favorite probably burgers of all time I've had in Vegas. That's probably what I'd give Vegas. I know you're there now, that's why I mentioned that. It's hard to say, man. Like again, I could like if you go town by town or spot by spot, state by state, I can like maybe have a bit more of a specific recommendation, but it all depends what you want. You know what I mean? Like each person's palate is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I spent limited time in Pittsburgh. I would not have a restaurant to recommend. None that I went to were worth writing home about.
We're all going to be there at 11. Well, not all of us, but several of us will.
There's back at the Arnold. There's a great burger place. I forget the name, but I went there. Would recommend.
Oh, was that the place with the smash burgers? That looked awesome.
Very good. Well worth it.
That looked
very,
really
very,
good.
Very good. Yeah, would recommend. Yeah, like it kind of depends on the place, but
yeah. Philadelphia, Washington D.C.
we have a place here that it's top 5 in Yelp in the U.S. It's called Melt. It's one of the highest rated burger joints in the United States.
Interesting. So I wonder how it actually is though, because I tried like that one. Yeah, it depends. Give it that.
They make their own buns. I mean, it's a very different. I don't know how to describe it. It's huge. I'll show you a picture of it. But
Paul, what area are you in, my friend?
I'm in Washington D.C.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna be in Virginia, like Suffolk, this fall too. So
that's the other side of the state. It's like 3 or 4 hours away from here.
Yeah, a few hours.
Yeah, I'll show you Melt there. I don't know if they're still top 5. They were for a long time. This is hang on. I'm going to pull this up. So if you're ever out in the Northern Virginia area, this is in Leesburg. It is famous.
Thing with famous though, famous doesn't always mean good. That's the biggest thing I think I've learned over the years.
I think it's the bun really that makes it there. They make their own bun and their own sauce.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, sometimes a good burger is just when it's not a slop shop, when it's kind of like nice clean. Yeah, exactly.
Quality ingredients.
You know what pisses me off with burgers?
What's that?
If you serve a burger, at least I want to grab the burger and eat it out of my hand, like in one piece. And if you stack your burger so tall with so many bullshit in it that you have to put a like a
Stick.
A stick into it to make it stand up, you can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like you have to keep your burgers to a certain size, or at least make them a certain width, so it can stay in one piece. You know what I mean?
Get a wide burger.
Yeah,
I imagine that pounds per square inch of downward force you'd be able to apply to that, Roman, could make it any size you want it.
Yeah,
exactly. If you make it wider, you can stack it taller. But if you have a burger that's like this and you stack it that tall, you have to hold it up with a stick. It's not a burger anymore.
Melt's going down a little bit. They're number 15 on Yelp in the country now in the United States for their burgers, but it's the best one here in DC, I think.
I think you're right though about the burgers. What makes a great burger is not how much crap you can stack on it, but just how good the simple parts of the ingredients are.
Yeah,
Simplicity at its best.
Exactly.
I like just
the quality of the meat.
Yeah, quality and meat makes a big difference. Anyway, I gotta head out though, guys. So true pleasure. I'll talk to you guys soon, hopefully, and we'll say till then. So thanks for having me on. We'll talk to you guys.
Yeah,
bye, Joel. Happy.
It was nice meeting you.
Likewise, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.
Well, if you come back down here again, Dave, we'll go to Melt sometime.
Let's do it. Now I'm jonesing for just a bacon burger. Bacon.
I like just a good, just flame grilled, just simple burger.
Yeah.
I like the open flame. You know, just when it's charred and has a little bit of a flavor to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We
were cooking on our fire this weekend, and I forgot how good it is. Just the open flame, the hardwood.
There's a steakhouse near. Well, it's the place we went to dinner, Dave. That steakhouse that we went. They do on happy hours on weeknights. They have a Wagyu burger that's flame grilled. That's really good.
Ooh.
For those
you got to eat to grow, SM.
That's right. This is we got a bunch of people in contest prep, so food is important.
I'll tell you what, he just wrecked anything that Reddit Chutai was doing for me this week.
I'm on my third low day in a row right now, so
I want sushi more than anything in the world right now.
You got what? At 11 days, Mike.
11
you can
days.
make it.
Yeah.
I always have like one weird thing I'll start to crave towards the end of prep, like something I never fucking eat ever. And then I just get obsessed with thinking about that thing. I'm going to have it post show.
Yeah.
Last time
that's how I felt.
That was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you go, Roman. Yours is going to be better than mine.
No, last time for me that was oatmeal with cottage cheese in it.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
mine's better than that.
Cooked plain oatmeal and then dumped cottage cheese in it, and that's what I was craving.
So it's like so it's like warm after? Is it like warm? Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Try it. Everyone out there, try it.
No.
Tag me.
There's like 1,000 better things in my house I could probably grab.
You don't know what you're missing.
I used to do cottage cheese with pickles on it and ketchup.
Well, that's legitimately delicious.
Any of
a tablespoon of that Maple Grove dressing will make just about everything better.
Do any of you do what's the service where they deliver your groceries? What's the famous one?
Instacart?
Instacart, yeah. Do you guys ever do Instacart often?
Never done it. I don't like people touching my food.
Yeah, we don't do it often, but this, like when we're busy or we have people over, like this weekend, Jackie did an Instacart, but last weekend she did it, and this weekend she did it. In both times, of all times, they brought us packs of cookies by accident. So I got to stare out every morning. I go down to my basement and I go to my cardio. I have to walk by 2 king-size packs of Oreos every morning at like 4 a.m. and just try not to look at them. And then they had like homemade chocolate chip cookies this weekend. I swear they're trying to sabotage.
George is with you on the cottage cheese on the oatmeal.
So Walmart delivery drivers here like every other day, and a lot of what they're doing is carting these around for me.
Oh, nice.
Six at a time.
I eat the fuck out of some pickles on contest prep, and I never eat pickles any other time of the year.
Yeah. Amy, what did you want to say?
Oh my gosh. No, the thing I was craving, like all of my last prep, was the Quest apple pie bar.
I remember you saying that.
Oh yeah.
It's like all I wanted
That's a
after my
weird
show.
thing.
Like I was so fixated on it. Like I was like planning in my head like where I was going to get it from, and like, did I ever end up eating one? No, I didn't. Still haven't. Yeah.
Oh, one time I had that Quest bar. So we had a photo shoot with Animal, and the photo shoots they take 8 to 10 hours with Brian Moss.
Oof.
So 8 to 10 hours photo shoots. I don't have anything to eat. I do have stuff to eat, but we don't have time, and I want my stomach to be flat, you know. So we're at Diamond Gym, and the one lady that was with me from Animal, I told her, can you grab me like a protein bar just to eat real quick? So she gets a Quest cookie bar, and I eat it basically on an empty stomach, and all of a sudden I feel it like bloating me. And then we shot for another couple of hours, and I had to fart so bad. So I slipped one out like a quiet one, you know. And we were just doing calves. I was doing standing calf raises, and Brian and his team were like behind me. And I thought no one would notice if I, you know. And all of a sudden, Brian just goes like this and walks away. He walks away. He's like, next time, excuse yourself and leave. It was so embarrassing, but it was funny also. Yeah.
Brian's the man.
Yeah, there's basically nothing digestible in a Quest bar. And at the Arnold, Quest was right next to the Chase Iron and Friends booth. And I'd offered the woman a cookie, right? Like one of the homemade cookies I made. She's like, no. She's like, but would you like a Quest bar? I'm like, oh, sure. So she has this Quest bar. Like the macros on that thing, she could have had 3 of my cookies for that one undigestible, disgusting Quest bar.
Yeah.
You got to be like Marcus Rule and just own it. I remember buying his training video, and he just farts and burps the whole fucking time, and he's eating shit food too, smoking cigarettes. I remember I remember being younger, and I'm like, I want to know what this big motherfucker's doing. And then I watched his video, and I'm like, he's eating fried chicken, smoking cigarettes, farting, burping. I'm like, what?
I was amazed. Marcus Rule like never ever added fat to anything. From what I know, not even anything though. Like just completely carbs and protein, as little fat as he could have.
Here you go. This is hilarious.
Jetzt mal fahren, also schneid es mal raus. Das schallt so in dem.
He's so funny.
Der Boden hier, der knirscht, ne?
It's just the whole time. It's just like all he does through the whole thing.
That's so funny.
What was he saying, Roman?
He said, you heard that fart? And then he said, nah, it's the floor is creaky here. The floor is
he was dad joking about his bodily functions.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah, a couple of times.
He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. I remember I loved that dude when I was younger. I'm like, I like this guy. He just doesn't give a fuck, eating whatever, just big as fuck, getting on stage. I'm like, being the biggest freak on stage. That's all he cares about.
Smoking packs of smokes all day long.
I know, and he's still alive. That's the crazy thing. Dude's got to be 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 50 something at least, something like that. But
yeah.
He's one of those genetic freaks, They smoke, drink bad food, and they live to their 90. And then someone else never smokes, eats salad and stuff like that, and then they drop dead of a heart attack.
A little bit of bathtub training, some cocaine, and boom, they're gone.
Oh, he's younger than I thought. He's 53. I thought he was like older than that. Okay. Yeah, so he's like my age. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that train. If you can find that training video, I have the DVD somewhere. I remember I ordered I was like back in the day when you couldn't watch bodybuilding videos on YouTube. There was no YouTube back then. Everybody sold DVDs, and I remember I bought a couple. I bought Ronnie Coleman's, I bought Dorian's, I bought Jay Cutler's, and then I bought Marcus Rules, and then I watched his, and I was like, what the fuck? This is like a comedy compared to the other ones.
And for the younger subscribers, a DVD is a round disc about 4 inches. You used to
put in a machine and play on your TV. Oh man. Yeah. I forget the name of it. It was hilarious. I remember I had the one with Jay in it where he had the headband. He would always rip up a t-shirt and tie it around his head.
Yeah.
That's a cut above. A cut above.
A cut above, yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's on his YouTube. That's on his YouTube also. For anyone who wants to watch it.
Yeah, and those gold gyms that he was training at are 20 minutes down the road from me. Cool. In Worcester.
Yeah, here's the Jay Cutler back then. This is what he looked like. I remember this. The cut up t-shirt headbands. He's always had good hair.
Still does.
Yeah, Jay's got the best hair in bodybuilding.
The skin tight leggings.
It just goes to show you that hair loss is another genetic thing. He's got a full head of hair still.
Arnold has pretty good hair.
Yeah, for being in his 80s, yeah. I'm sure he probably had a hair transplant at some point, though, didn't he?
Yeah, Jay too.
Oh, you think Jay did?
No, Jay had definitely, because there was one time where he had a shaved head. Then he had the hair transplant done.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do you thin at all, Roman?
Look at this shit.
Yeah, there was somebody in the comments section last week who was telling Roman just to shave it.
Yeah, that's not too bad, dude, though. I've seen, that's not bad considering some people touch DHT and it's torched, completely gone.
I think this is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It won't get any worse. I'm probably going to do a transplant in maybe December. One company reached out to me.
Nice.
And yeah.
Is it a place?
The funny thing is, in Turkey, of course.
Yeah,
the funny thing is,
places in Turkey.
There's one, you can't see it, but there is one hair lonely by itself somewhere right here. And that's probably where my hairline used to be. You know what I mean?
That's the one that didn't leave.
It's one single hair right here that refuses to fall out.
Yeah.
Oh, my head looks stupid if I let it grow out. I've got these. It looks like a garden or a lawn that somebody didn't water enough. I've got patches where it still grows. It's so bad.
I noticed you got to really be careful where you get them to put the line, because I've seen some guys do it and it's just it doesn't look right. The line across their forehead's either too low or it's too far back.
Looks like somebody took a marker and drew it.
Yeah.
When Ian Valieri had his done at first, he looked ridiculous.
Right.
What they did, that hairline, his front hairline was hilarious.
But I think at first it always looks stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They take a little while to.
Yeah, then a few drop out, and then it looks kind of normal.
Yeah. Dr. Dean was saying he had his wife help the surgeons pick where the line was, because she had to stare at him every day. So she was the one.
Yeah, his looks good.
Yeah, his came in great now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys saw Nick Walker finally. He shaved his head a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
No, he did anyway. Yeah.
I think it's an attitude change or something. I don't know.
I need to get Nick on sometimes. He listens to us. He said he listened to us all in prep. So
Yeah.
Do a bald person, bald guy episode.
I'm like, Nick, why are you shaving your head, man?
Yeah.
Talk about listening to. Tanya Miller is on every freaking podcast I listen to. Like, it doesn't matter what show I'm listening to, either this and always live. Either this one or the one with Dusty, or with with Dusty and Ron, or Scott Stevenson. No matter where I'm listening to, Tanya is like commenting.
Yeah,
like always throwing her 2 cents in.
Her and Josh, they're the VIPs.
Yeah. Josh is everywhere.
but Josh is the troll, right?
Josh is funny. He's
Yeah.
the clever troll.
Yeah, he's our favorite troll.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hair removal is a common psychological trick of identity change.
He might be one of the funniest trolls on the internet.
Josh is hilarious. He cracks me up.
Yeah.
Roman, when you do get your hair done, though, if you go and look back on some of the videos with Dr. Dean, he explains really well what to expect and how to treat it. Like Amy says, he did a fantastic job of the upkeep after the fact.
Oh, I didn't realize Bumstead had his done.
Yeah. I think he did it at the same time as Ian.
Yeah, they went together.
Yeah.
Well, that's I didn't know that. Huh.
Bought some Primo probably.
In-law bro trip. Let's go to Turkey.
There's gonna be the guys that tell you that Mast and Primo don't cause hair loss. I have not seen that to be true.
Certainly accelerated my hair loss for sure.
If Primo caused hair loss, I would be like, I had no hair. Nowhere on my body.
Just goes to show androgens in general, it's totally genetic from person to person.
I tell you what absolutely nuked mine. It was Tren. I've talked about it before, but when I used Tren for the first time, my hair was just falling out. Not only that was it falling out, I started growing hair on my ears and my back. I never had back hair until I took Tren.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're taking high doses of DHT, at least for me, not only is the hair falling out of the top of your head, but the texture and the density of the hair
dried
on the
out
sides of your head and stuff changes. Yeah.
That's probably the estrogen being low, I would guess.
Right.
Low estrogen can affect that too. I'm just speculating. I'm not a doctor or an expert on anything. I just pretend to be one on the internet. I love all these dudes that speculate and think they know the answers for how to stop hair loss and what causes hair loss. I'm like, bro, if you knew, you'd be a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with the gut, with the bubble gut. It's like, oh, from growth hormone, from insulin. It's like, I don't know.
I've taken a shit ton of insulin. I'm a diabetic, and I also have taken a shit ton of growth hormone, and I still have a 32-inch waist.
Right.
Yeah.
I think most of it's just from shit diet, genetics, visceral fat. That would be my guess. But
I think posture too, just letting your gut hang, and you're just so tempered to having your stomach hanging out. You're not keeping it tight. That adds up over time.
I do think guys blow their abdominal wall out with this is just fucking speculation. But you'll see power lifters and dudes that lift heavy that wear belts. And I think that when they wear the belt low, that puts a lot of pressure on the upper abdomen. And you see guys, where do they get diastasis? They get it on their upper, it rips apart up top. And I think it's from cranking that belt down and having all that abdominal pressure coming out in one spot. That's just speculation.
I have the exact same theory because I got my umbilical hernia and the hernia on in your groin. I don't know what it's called. Next to your
inguinal.
Yeah, exactly. I got them both when I wore a belt.
Yep.
And I could basically feel. It felt like, imagine you're taking a bag of chips, and you squeeze it in the middle, and then it pops.
Yeah.
On both sides. That's exactly what I was deadlifting, and then I braced into the belt, and then it popped right open. It felt like exactly when you pop a chips bag, like.
Yeah, I mean it's just common sense. Like exactly like you said, you think about a balloon. If you take it and you squeeze it in the middle, that pressure is being dispersed somewhere else. It has to go somewhere rather than being spread across all that area. I don't know if I can wear a belt. I haven't worn one in years.
Yeah, I stopped wearing a belt. So
and I think it's especially bad with bodybuilders because they wear those belts that are narrow on the front.
Yeah.
And crank those fucking things down tight. Whereas, like you see powerlifters, they have the big wide belts that cover up most of their abdomen, and they wear them higher usually.
Mm-hmm. And
I think guys that stay lean too have an easier time with it.
Well, yeah,
doing vacuum training and stuff. It's hard to do vacuum training when you can't even see whether or not you're pulling it in.
Right.
I think a lot of guys too that do manual labor end up blown, just from picking up stuff all the fucking time. That too. Drinking beer, you get your abdominal wall gets, alcohol will cause swelling and bloating of the abdomen. I've seen that too. Visceral fat accumulation. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but I do think that, especially the diastasis, the guys there's a lot of dudes that have diastasis, and from what this is just total anecdote and speculation, but the guys that don't wear belts don't seem to get diastasis or hernias. It's at least what I've seen. It's like the opposite of what you would think.
Yeah, exactly. You think I've talked to many guys that were like, "Oh, I have to wear a belt because I don't want to get a hernia."
Right.
Like, no, you wearing a belt will cause a hernia, if anything.
Yeah. You want to distribute that pressure a little bit more.
Amy, what is it with pregnant women? Because their stomachs extend to like enormous size. I could never, eat that much and cause so much pressure in training that my stomach would be like this. But then there are some women where their stomach just completely flattens back down and looks normal.
Yeah, it is largely genetic. It's like getting stretch marks, for women. Like there are women who can have like multiple pregnancies, meaning like twins or triplets, and have no diastasis or minimal diastasis. And other women will have one normal size, 7-pound baby, and like their abdominal wall is completely destroyed. I think a lot of it, has to do with the health of the fascia and how kind of flexible and mobile it is, but also just genetics gets people. I mean, it's crazy to see what pregnancy does to some people and not to others. I mean, it really is. It's the genetic lottery.
I agree with Rob here. He said bodybuilders vacuum and putting on the belt. You're supposed to flex and brace as you would during a squat or a deadlift, and then tightening the belt. I trust my body, technique, and form over wearing a belt. Yes, I agree.
Oh, that's exactly what I used to do. I used to suck in my stomach as hard as possible and then put the belt on.
Yeah, and then it's going to blow out somewhere else. You're making the pressure go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. But it looked cool.
Gotta go somewhere. It looks cool.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean, I'm serious. And like you put 500 pounds on your back, and then you have all this pressure across one spot of your abdomen. Where is it going to go? It's going to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, that's my rant on.
Man, it's been a long time since I had 500 pounds. Long time.
All right, we want to grab some questions. Sorry, I got off track.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. We'll go back to the beginning with this one from George. How's Paul on the shoulder doing? Good interview with you and the Hormones podcast, Dave. That was a really good one, Dave. I didn't listen to all of it because you guys went for like 3 hours and I had to go to sleep, but that was really good. How's your shoulder, Paul?
I'll be 11 weeks post surgery on Monday. PT told me I could start using some light weights. So I did introduce some weight training this week, but I basically have been on TRT and haven't really lifted weights all year. So I look like it. I'm the lightest I've been in a long time. I woke up this morning. I was 234, 235.
Wow.
And I'm ready to get back on blast and start training.
Do you feel like it's healing? Like, I mean, the way it feels to you, like, how is it feeling, like, internally?
It feels like I could probably go back to 100% training, and I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
The only
Scary part.
problem I've had is some nerve issues, and they think it's my brachial plexus. But like my it's so weird, man. Like the side of my arm and my pinky finger and my ring finger go numb at night, just completely numb, and it's really annoying. It wakes me up. I didn't have it before the surgery, so something in the surgery changed. But the PT was working on my neck and but I've got pretty good range of motion. Like range of motion's back to, they said, about 90% of pre-surgery. Because they actually measure. It's pretty cool. When you go in, they measure where your range of motion is on both arms, and then they compare it to see how you're progressing with range of motion. That's mainly what they've been working on PT, is to get range of motion back. But they said it takes about 12 weeks for that graft to take, and then another 8 to 12 weeks for it to fully like cement in, like where it can withstand full load. Now, in theory, with some serostim and peptides, you can probably cut that down by 20% or so. So we'll see. But I am Josh said ulnar nerve. Yeah, that's what initially they thought, but she thinks it's up. She was messing around with my neck and thinks it's up in the brachial plexus somewhere. So I'd say I'm happy with where I'm at. Honestly, I think it feels better than it did pre-surgery. I'm curious to see what my bicep looks like since the insertion point has been shortened. In theory, that should make my bicep peak higher. I didn't have one before. I have very flat biceps. So I might be doing this pose, the one arm up.
I was curious of your range of motion, because that's something you can lose a little bit.
I mean, I get my hand fully overhead now, which I can put my arm behind my back. Those are the things they test: arm behind the back. There's external rotation where you push your arm out. That's still a little rough.
Yeah,
where turning my arm out this way. I don't know if you can see or not, but turning my arm out that way is still a little rough. But man, I've talked to so many people that have had the same damn injury. It's crazy. Like I always thought it was my shoulder that was fucked up. It was the bicep tendon that was really the problem. And it caused the problems with my shoulder because that bicep tendon was sliding out of the groove and tearing up my supraspinatus and labrum. It was actually the bicep tendon that was causing all the other problems. So I kept getting this like popping in my shoulder all the time when I was lifting, and I would kind of like do this number, and whatever it was would pop back in place. I thought it was my shoulder popping out of socket, but it was actually the bicep tendon coming out of the groove that it sits in because it was loose, and then just over time it just frays up and wears down. It's like a rope that's been sliding across the deck of a ship. And then it was only like 20% of my bicep tendon left, but thank fucking God I didn't rupture it. I've seen some people that rupture it, and that's a brutal. They have to cut you open from shoulder down all the way down to your elbow, and then they have to pull the bicep back up and reattach it. And then sometimes the tendon is so damaged when that happens that there's really nothing to reattach. I think that's what happened to Dorian, because I know they didn't reattach his bicep.
No, his tore in the meat, in the belly.
Oh, in the meat. Oh, yeah, that's the worst fucking place.
So yeah, you can't really you could try. Can't really reattach that. Yikes.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. But yeah. So the capsule ruptured. I mean, long story short, at 11 weeks post surgery, I'm pretty happy with where it is. I can probably start easing back into like regular training. I've been training the whole time. It's not like I'm not going to the gym. I've just been doing one arm stuff. I've been doing bands and stretching. I'm still going to the gym. I'm actually doing fucking cardio now, which is wild because my resting pulse rate was 54 when I was at the cardiologist the other day, and I'm like, who would have known if losing 30 pounds and doing cardio would bring your pulse down that low? But that's where I'm at. I'm happy with the progress. I'm just chomping at the bit to get back to it because I told myself I wasn't sure if I wanted to compete again, but I think I do want to at least do one pro show.
Yeah, we said we're going to do the Japan Pro.
I would love to do the Japan.
I'll come and we'll all go get sushi.
We can go to that sushi place.
We can go to get sushi. I need to qualify for the Masters Olympia, then I have a real excuse to go.
Mm-hmm.
But that would assume winning a show, which is pretty slim. You never know though.
Yeah, don't underestimate yourself, dude.
There's only a handful of pro shows that actually have a Masters division. There's only like 5 or 6 that I know of.
Yeah.
There
were none 2 years ago.
Really? Yeah. So we got
I think there was one.
We got the Tampa. We have the Emerald Cup. We have Chicago Pro. I heard a rumor that they were going to add it to the Pittsburgh next year. I don't know if that's true or not. There's the Masters World Championships. And then there's that one in Daytona, the Daytona Pro, I think that's what it's called. They have a Masters division, but that's about it. I guess I could do Open and get 15th place. That is, I could do that.
There is, I think they just added that to the show that I went to in Reno.
Yeah, Legion. Yeah,
Legion.
They were reaching out to me asking me to do that show. I don't know if it was just marketing stuff or what, but they sent me a bunch of stuff about doing that show. They were trying to get people to compete.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought about
people got their Olympia qualification there, so
I thought about switching to Classic. I've been giving that some consideration because the cap is 242 for my height. If I go to Classic, so I'm close. That was 250 on stage last year, so I'm right in that ballpark. I could get down to 242.
Yeah, it's hard to continue to progress, though. Hypertrophy wise, and stay under that cap when you start there.
Well, I mean, you see all the guys that are the classic guys. Like once they hit their limit, they don't really improve after that. They just get a little more polish, because there's only just so far you can push it. If you want to grow, you're going to have to go to the Open. So you got to make a decision on what. Looking at Bumstead, like it looks like to me like his body wants to be like 270, 280.
Yeah.
And that dude has to fight to get down.
Yeah, or Urs.
He does.
Urs, yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about fighting to get down. Jesus Christ, have you seen Keon? Like how the hell's that guy going to do 212?
Wasn't he like wasn't he 5 or 8 pounds under the cap last Olympia anyhow?
Well, he doesn't look like it now.
Yeah, but still,
dude is massive.
Yeah, he did have some room to grow.
Yeah,
those proportions are just so cartoony. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he talk about getting blessed by the gods with good genetics. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he works hard, but everybody at the top does to a certain degree. But let me see if I can find a picture of him.
Can you be born with a hernia, Amy?
Yes.
With the diastasis?
Oh, I mean, you can have genetic deformities for sure that cause like parts of your abdominal wall to form with your intestines on the outside of it. I mean, that's an issue. But you can also get you can have from birth like an umbilical hernia. Like if your umbilical cord is not tied off correctly, like that can be an issue from birth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a severe medical issue though if you have your intestines not inside your abdominal cavity, which can happen. I mean, that can.
Look at these. This is off season. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
How tall is he? Like 4'5'3"? Yeah.
This one looks the side, the 3/4 from the side looks photoshopped.
Maybe.
No. I mean, it looks so ridiculous. It looks photoshopped. I'm sure.
Doesn't look real.
I think it's real. I mean, he's just a freak.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply that it's photoshopped, but it looks.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't look real. He looks like an AI generated character. He told AI to make a bodybuilder. That's what he looks like.
They were looking at that same picture on another podcast, and they were talking about how the shadows cast behind them on that black background made him look whiter in certain areas.
Yeah, I mean,
the pictures just like it. So the
I mean,
optical illusion is real. Yeah.
That there is certainly that effect, but it's like I wish Justin was on here. Justin always said, Ronnie Coleman looked like Ronnie Coleman in check-in pics.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't matter where he took him, right?
Yeah, let's not be crazy. We know what we're looking at. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
That's a freak physique.
His muscles make him look huge. Yes, they do, Josh.
Josh being funny. All right. Sorry. Let's get back on track with questions.
All right. Let's do this one also from George. What's Roman up to nowadays with his training, diet, drugs, and everything? Give us a little rundown. How's your hip? How's the leg training? I saw you working out.
What's the cycle look like? That's all they really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they really care about.
It's going pretty good. I'm actually getting ready to compete this year, but after the Olympia, there are a couple shows. There's one in Poland, Romania, and Japan. Those three. I'm looking at those. And yeah, I'm eating as always. I'm not adding any fats to my food, Dave. And yeah, test Primo. And I started adding some Dianabol.
Awesome. The D-ball is awesome. Remember, folks, you can't get big without fats, or in Primo doesn't make you big either. That's what we hear on the internet. So
yeah.
You still doing double sessions, or you do like a primary session and a secondary kind of session?
So I did hamstrings this morning, and I'm doing quads tonight after this. And then tomorrow I'm doing chest and calves, and then I'm doing shoulders and triceps. And then on day 3, I'm doing back. And then at night I do traps, rear delts, and biceps and forearms. That's like the accessory days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my 3-day split. And then I start over.
You rest for 1 day, then start over another 3 days?
Sometimes I rest for a day.
Mm-hmm.
I rest on Thursdays, mostly, sometimes, and then the other days I just plow right through.
You realize how wild that sounds to us? Like no rest days at all?
No, not at all. I do like one a week.
When I'm going hard at it, I don't take off. This is the thing. Like, dude, this is what makes me fucking laugh. Like, what everybody thinks you need to do to get big and to be a professional bodybuilder is not what everybody does. Like, it's literally like you hear the bros say, eat more fats. You're overtraining. You're not training enough, or you're training too much. You need to take all the crazy exotic compounds. It's literally test Primo, like you said, D-ball. Don't eat a lot of fat, eat a shit ton of carbs and protein, and train a lot, train hard.
Exactly. Yeah. And and everyone else I talk to is just like that.
Yeah. Except for the gym bros that are trying to get big, don't do any of that. It cracks me up, man. It's like the formula is right in front of everybody, and then they do the exact opposite.
But the funny thing is, I think bodybuilding is like the only sport where that's a thing. Like, let's look at what the best people in the world do, and then do not that.
Right. I think people are always looking for a shortcut or a secret or some hack. And the charlatans on the internet that promote some sort of hack, they're just doing it to sell their services usually, because that shortcut sells. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. People don't want to hear the boring truth. It's just you do simple shit, you do it consistently, and you do it for years on end, and then you have an end result. But I just laugh. Like, I always laugh at guys like worried about the overtraining thing. Just cracks me up. I'm not saying that you can't overtrain. You definitely can, but it just fucking cracks me up, because like, what other endeavor in life do you get worse by working harder?
Right. Yeah, I get that, but there's part of for me anyways, like, it's not that I can't physically do it. It's just over enough time, if I don't have at least one solid day of real rest, I'm not being optimally productive on my next 3 days or my next 4 days of training. Like, it will catch up to me by the third day, the fourth day, where I'm really run down, and then I force a rest day that I might not have planned on, or it just throws off my schedule, and I'm a creature of habit, So,
yeah, but you figured this out for yourself.
right,
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
works for me. That might be not perfect for Roman or Paul or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, but you still, when you are training, you're going as hard as you can, right? And then you're taking the rest day. But there's people out there that worry about training too hard. Think about this: training too hard to build muscle.
Yeah.
The sound of that. Oh, I don't want to train too hard to build muscle.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I've never heard, I've never seen anyone who trained too hard so his body couldn't build muscle.
Yeah, very
Like,
true.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I one of your lines I quote frequently, Roman, and I laugh. And I remember you saying this a couple of years ago. Is I've never seen anybody gain or lose muscle by training more, or it was something along that line.
Yeah, training. It's like, but that's the thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
The thing about the internet, it's taken how many decades to go from like Mike Mincer to Renaissance hypertrophy. And with the internet, we can cycle back through those like 70 times in an 18-month period, right? And everybody's on Mike Mincer and then changing their training again. And it's like,
yeah,
I don't think there's any wrong way to do it, right? You just pick a style that works for you. If you want to go slow and use, my rep sets and maximize the time under tension and stretch media hypertrophy, all these things, or if you want to just go hard and lift weights, then it's all going to build muscle. But just do one thing consistently and not jump on the next internet bandwagon. I changed my training again, and every 2.5 weeks you want to try a new style, and those guys aren't progressing. The guys who are progressing are the guys who do the same thing over and over and over.
I heard, I think it was Brian Dobson, who owns Metroflex Gym, said he gave Ronnie when Ronnie Coleman walked in when he was like 21 or 22, I forget what age it was. He gave Ronnie a workout, and Ronnie did that same workout for 25 years.
Yeah.
Never changed anything. And they have like 12 pieces of equipment at that gym too. So
have you ever trained at that gym?
No.
Yeah, it's epic. It just has a feeling, right? Like it's they haven't sweat there since Ronnie worked out there.
Yeah.
And it's dirty and dusty and nasty, but it's
him and Branch both worked out there.
Yeah.
They listen to us there. The guys there send me pictures of us up on the TV when they're in the gyms. That's pretty fucking cool. So shout out to Metroflex.
I took my headphones out. They had Tech 9 turned up to 10. It's just like screaming music in the background, and just you can't not train hard there.
Yeah. So I mean, it really.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Roman.
You can see it in Ronnie's videos because he did a video basically like every year from I think 2000, and his front squat, hack squat, walking lunges, stiff-legged deadlift, seated leg curl, or something like that. And then the other leg workout is is regular squats, leg press, leg extension. And that's what he does in all his videos. Like same workout. Yeah. And it's flat barbell, incline barbell, decline barbell. The other workout is flat dumbbell, incline dumbbell, decline dumbbell.
Yeah, it really is that simple. People love to overcomplicate shit. It boils down to just work fucking hard and do it consistently.
Yeah. What's the next question?
Next question. Sorry, I've been ranting
Next
today.
question is from Jacobe Dials. Hey guys, is gyno something that just flares up with high estrogen, then will go away when estrogen is in range, or will it always kind of be there?
No, there's many things that can cause it, but yes, it's genetic. You either have it or you don't. I have had horrible problems with gyno my entire life. I had it as a teenager before I ever took anything. Most people that struggle with gyno have pubescent gyno, and then it comes and goes. But I mean, it can be estrogen, GH can cause it, progesterone, prolactin. I mean, there's a bunch of, even some people I've seen on GH will flare up gyno. Really, like guys are always looking for some magic formula to prevent it from happening. Like, if you're going to be serious about bodybuilding, just go get the damn surgery done and be done with it. I wish I had done that earlier.
Well, I had gorgeous boobs when I was a fat guy, and after I lost all the weight, I mean, it took years, but the breast tissue that was there reduced greatly. That's just my experience. When I had the little flare up due to the Masteron mishap here recently, where I felt there was some puffiness, you take a little tamoxifen for a week or two, and that subsides quickly. So if you catch it early, you can just run it back with something like tamoxifen.
Yeah, tamoxifen and letrozole will shrink it up to a certain degree, but once you have that, I mean, Amy, you would know, the glandular tissue, once it forms and it grows, it doesn't shrink.
No, not significantly. I mean, it might a little bit. I think, though, more what we see is that not so much that the glandular tissue shrinks. It's that if someone like loses weight, like the overall projection of the tissue might not be as notable. But like once that breast bud has developed, it's not going to revert. I mean, I would think that that's the same illogical reasoning that any organ in the body could selectively shrink itself again. I mean, once it's got that hypertrophy, it's there. Maybe minimal changes if you lost a lot of fat around it, just because breast tissue is fatty tissue, but it wouldn't go away.
Yeah, it's wild when you see them take it out. I was awake when they did mine, and he let me look at it. It is like this hard, rubbery mass. I mean, it is solid. I mean, it is dense. Like, it is dense. Like, I couldn't believe all the shit he took out of my chest.
Yeah, it's dense, and it
was like a fried egg.
Yeah, and sometimes they can be even bigger than that, like a small potato. I mean, we'll take out large amounts of gyno, depending on the reason for the growth, especially if it's something that develops in like adolescence. That's when we see like the really, really formed breast tissue that's just with way out of whack hormones during puberty, and those ones tend to be the larger ones, or people who have been like morbidly obese.
I would say
so much estrogen signaling.
I would say if you're prone to gyno, there's definitely some stuff you want to avoid, like the old DECA D-ball cycle. If you want to grow titties, that's the way to grow titties. If you're everybody talks about Arnold doing DECA and D-ball, but like clearly he didn't have the genetics to get gyno because they weren't doing gyno surgeries back then. But for every Arnold, there was probably 50 dudes walking around with man boobs. And we're doing DECA and D-ball. I mean, I would say DECA is a big offender. D-ball, even Tren will make gyno grow if you're sensitive to prolactin and progestins. I've even seen some guys with GH, estrogen definitely. Like if you test, if test makes your gyno blow up, you throw some D-ball and DECA on top of it, you're going to have it's going to amplify it by tenfold. So like I wish I could go back in a time machine and tell the 18-year-old Paul not to take D-ball and DECA, because that's the cycle I ran that I grew a B cup with. It was epic for growing boobs.
Do you think 18-year-old Paul would have listened?
No, he would have told the old Paul to go fuck off. I know what I'm doing.
At the end of the day, being on top of things, like ahead of the game, getting your blood work done, seeing where your cycles trend, your estrogen trend, some of these factors is a good way to prevent it anyhow. Just being able to see what's going on in your body and not guessing, not throwing in AIs when you don't need them, or playing with dosages too much. You need to be able to look at your blood work and see what's going on and be confident what you're looking at.
Probably the safest bet if you're a person that's prone to gyno would be test Primo or Masteron in like Anavar or something like that. That would be the safest thing you could run if you're prone to gyno.
Maybe not Masteron right now.
Yeah, Masteron, that's really Deca.
Mm-hmm.
Curious about Amy's opinion on this, but I've done a lot of research and I can't really find any conclusive scientific studies on marijuana use in breast tissue development.
Oh yeah,
I was actually going to bring that up, Mike.
Yeah, there's a lot of clinics out there who sell breast reduction to men, with that as a marketing tool.
Well, marijuana raises prolactin. It affects dopamine, which is going to have a downstream effect on gyno.
Right, and that makes sense, but try to find a study that backs that up.
Oh, it definitely does.
Yeah, and I think, Mike, I would say anecdotally, yes. Like, I think that there are people who are high marijuana users definitely do seem to have somewhat of a propensity, if they have an unhealthy lifestyle as well, to developing gyno. However, those tests are likely not going to be done because it's still a controlled it's still an illegal substance federally. So I think that's part of the reason why there's no actual medical studies or data on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's several, and they're all inconclusive. So
exactly.
I want to add on to this. Rice asked if can you get gyno in a low E2 situation? Potentially with, you can have. I've seen guys get gyno from tren, and your estrogen will be low. I've seen guys get it from elevated IGF-1, if you're prone to it from GH and insulin. So it is possible.
I think we've talked about kratom use as well.
Kratom's another one. Opioids in general are going to affect dopamine. So. Well,
having worked around several marijuana abusers for many, many years, I can tell you that
you're an expert.
All have kits, so
they're usually skinny too.
Yeah,
they're usually skinny and they have boobs. It does bad things to your body if you want to be a bodybuilder.
Well, I wonder how many of the other variables come into play too, because you're one group of people, and it's not just the marijuana use. It's like Amy said, lifestyle, dietary scenario.
Of course, that factors into it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit diet.
What else?
Probably eating a high carbohydrate, low protein, high fat diet, like most potheads do. That's not going to help things either. And you may be in a situation where you have low estrogen and low testosterone in an estrogen dominant environment too. If you're sedentary, I see that a lot in guys that come to me that are new, just like clients that just want to get in shape. They'll have really high estrogen and low test, which is also really bad. That's typical fat middle-aged guy, and you're smoking weed on top of it and have high prolactin too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a combination for growing boobs. Who knew we would talk about? We've been all over the place today, from competitive eating to how to grow boobs, fake Masteron. We've covered it all.
Farts.
Yeah.
This has been an epic episode. Hair transplants. Jesus.
Whether or not you should put a stick in the middle of a cheeseburger.
Burger.
Yep. Folks, this is what quality entertainment looks like.
Here's an idea. We'll trade,
and it's free.
We'll trade some Melinda. We'll send up a box of Melinda's hot sauce to Roman, and he can get us some real Masteron sent down. Even trade.
I keep forgetting that we got to get Roman a care package from the U.S.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know. I was sitting here frustrated.
You tell us what you want, not what we'll get you the best cereal and hot sauce that America can provide.
Instacart it.
All right, let's
Roman. We'll get you something. I'll message you today.
Let's get one more question in. The bathroom is calling me, so I got to wrap up soon.
Right, this is one that Dave wanted us to answer too, so we'll ask this one from Joshua Perry. Did you ever put together a video with Dr. Marv on how to avoid that particular problem with stretch rehab, where he looks at your routine?
Me, or was that for Dave?
I think that means it was a question for you, Paul.
No, I have not. We're going to do another episode coming up soon. We're going to do a live one.
Those were good.
Yeah, Dr. Marv is great. He's very smart. More people should be aware of him.
I've been doing a lot of their content lately. Does anybody know Skip Hill's skin tightening stuff? Is he keep that pretty close to the lip. And
No, Skip does. Skip will tell you. I'm pretty sure he uses GHCKU and he definitely uses melanotan. He loves his melanotan.
No.
Yeah.
I need to get Skip on sometime. Skip and I go way back. I've known Skip forever for shit. He was my first contest prep coach.
He asked me to go on his podcast. I got to reach out to him again.
Skip keeps weird hours, man. I've tried to get him on here on the live with us, but this is the middle of the night for him.
Oh, he's a day sleeper.
It probably matches with me because of the time difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude's a vampire. He stays up all night. And actually, I think he's a genius for doing it that way with the check-ins, because people don't respond when you do them in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. You can actually get work done.
But going back to Dr. Marv, I'd just like to see if you were able to give him some video or something of a couple of your movement patterns, and just make sure you're being like re-injured, you know, because it seems like from some of his content, he's not overhauling your like all of your movement patterns. It's really small adjustments and mindful things to keep in mind during some of these movement patterns that can make a big difference.
Yeah, looking back on it, like I think about the things that really wore out my bicep tendon over time. Like there's a couple little things like he pointed out, like definitely like overhead pull downs, like letting my shoulder stretch up too far, and really stretch it, like especially wide grip, because I always felt pull downs more in my biceps than I did in my back. I think the wide grip pull downs with letting it stretch too much at the top really fucked up my bicep tendons. I think my other one's a little fucked up, to be honest with you. Wide grip bench press with the elbows out is another one. Getting too deep on dumbbell flies, that's another one I never fucking considered. That puts a lot of strain on that pec insertion and the bicep tendon. So yeah, I mean, because you think about like a dumbbell fly, like all the load really, like there's no, like your pec pulls your arm to the center line. Really, like the part that should have the most load is probably the top end, this part of it, right, not the stretched end of it. So really probably doing like a cable crossover or a machine fly probably makes a lot more sense than doing a dumbbell fly. But that all that load is out here on your arm. Your arm's extended out, and a lot of it's taking its toll on that bicep tendon is carrying a lot of that load. So yeah, it was just some of those things. Like I just never really stuff I did over the years that I thought I had to do. That probably, look, it's not like when I blow you out in one session, but it's just an accumulation of wear and tear over the years. AKA I'm old as fuck.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's how I did my shoulder injury when I was here, was those cable flies.
Yeah, I think you got to be really careful. And like I was talking to my PT about it, and you don't think this is crazy. I saw this study where they said it was something like, it was close to like 90% of pec tear repair surgeries are from flat barbell bench. It's like almost the orthopedic surgeon, I was talking about orthopedic, he's like, I almost never see pec tears in just regular people. It's football players and guys doing bench presses.
What would a normal person be doing that would tear a pec? Most people who are not into sports or athletics.
You think about the way most people bench, the way they think they need to bench for bodybuilding is that wide. They don't, like powerlifters. You don't see powerlifters tear their pecs very often.
Sure.
But they keep their arms tucked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing this shit where they're wide, and that pec is it's a big muscle that goes down into a very small insertion. I'm not a exercise physiologist, but I'm just speculating here. That is a lot. I mean, just the mechanics and physics of it. That is a lot of load on a very small area. And where do people always tear their pec? Yeah. It is up top. And like my PT was saying, it's same thing with the shoulder injuries up there. It's always the pec minor too. Always. It's never the pec major. It's always up top. and then it just rolls across the chest, and it just, you know, we don't think about, we talk about loaded stretch for hypertrophy, but we don't consider how loaded stretch affects the insertion in connective tissue. Yeah, like how dangerous it could. It kind of has me rethinking like if loaded stretch is even a smart thing to do for your long-term health. I mean, you look at the guys that do a lot of loaded stuff at the, you know, you think about like a lot of these like hardcore trainers, like the guys that do a lot of like the loaded stretch stuff, they all end up fucking tearing shit later on when they get in their 30s and stuff.
Plus, you couple that with ego lifting, you know, just ego lifting way too heavy of work.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part. I would just have a control of the weight.
Yeah, and bodybuilders don't put as much thought into their setup when they go to lay down on that bench. How is my body going to work through this range of motion?
No, they don't put any thought
like
into it.
So you usually could set yourself up for in a bad angle, bad position, in a vulnerable spot, and easy way to tear something for sure.
Another thing I think about too a lot with bodybuilding, and I just don't think many bodybuilders give much thought to, and I'd be curious to get Rowan's thoughts on this. Like guys all the time will just feel like they have to do a certain movement, but then they don't actually feel it in the muscle trying to work. Like I would think first and foremost, like, are you actually activating the muscle that you're trying to work? Is it actually providing any benefit for you?
There is both sides to this. There's the guys that think I have to squat or otherwise I haven't done legs, or I have to bench press or it's not I had this conversation with Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach. And because we both had the exact same experience, because he's coaching people or used to coach people, I'm coaching people, and then exact same conversations. Like, man, my shoulder hurts. I can't train chest anymore. And then so what do you mean you can't train chest anymore? Well, I can't do bench press. It's like, you can't do bench press, but can you do an incline press or a press machine of any sort, or pec deck flies? Yeah, I can do all those. It's like, so you can't train chest? No, because I can't do bench press.
No.
It's like what the fuck? You don't have to bench press. You don't have to bench press to train chest. It's like, what do you mean? Arnold bench pressed. It's like completely asinine, the thought of doing a chest workout without the bench press.
Right.
And then there's the other camp. It's like, how do I make this squat feel exclusively on the outside of my leg in my sweeps? Like, this is this is not. Or how do I make the deadlift feel blah blah? Just today in my Q&A on my Instagram, someone asked me how to make the deadlift, stiff leg deadlifts, and he wants to feel him exclusively in his lower back lat insertion, blah blah. It's like, I've never thought of that when I did a stiff leg deadlift. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you take it and try to alter it to something different, that doesn't always work out. Like if you're trying to make it. Good, Roman.
There's both sides to this coin. There's the people that think you have to do a certain thing, otherwise you have not trained this muscle. And then there's the other the other side that is they're over sensitive to feeling certain things in every movement, and they want to compare a squat to a leg extension.
There's the guys that overanalyze things. I used to be in the camp of, I felt like I had to do squats, bench, and deadlifts. Like I just wasn't training if I was.
Me too.
And then I had to reinvent that in my 40s, because there's no way I could continue to train that way and progress in my 40s. I just couldn't do it. Interesting. Go ahead.
I figured this out with my legs were always very good, but I always squatted like a maniac. So had to get very good, I think.
Yeah.
Just by blunt force trauma. And then my hip went out. I couldn't squat and deadlift anymore. And then I tried to find other movements, hack squats, and certain ways of hip hinging. Then my legs got even better. I was like, why the fuck haven't I not done this the past 15 years? I could have gained way more out of different movements. Oh, Paul is gone. Okay.
Paul kicked himself off. Ooh, what are we going to do without him?
We're taking the show. We're taking over the show.
When I got rid of barbell bench.
Oh, he's back. Shh.
Yeah. I got my chest to definitely grow better when I got rid of barbell bench, for sure. I was able to apply better application to other movements that just connected better, less injury and everything.
Okay, so do my bicep tendons fucked from biasing the stretch position and pull. I'm telling you, man, I think that's
good point.
Wooden. Any advice on rehab? I would go get an MRI done. Make sure you haven't fucking torn it, man. There's no rehab for a torn tendon. That's what I found out.
Well, what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense, Paul, because I don't really do much wide grip in pull down, because no matter how I alter it, I'm always kind of like getting my biceps to give out before my back.
Yeah, Marv pointed that out to me. He was like showing the mechanics of how the shoulder works, and like how I was just basically just destroying my and most guys do, destroying my bicep tendon.
I think it's going to be a lot of that going on, and now everybody talking so much about stretch-mediated hypertrophy and then training in the stretch position, where most people don't have the mind-muscle connection, or a lot of people don't have the mind-muscle connection necessary to do that effectively. Like, where does the muscle stretch stop and the tendon stretch begin, right?
Well, and some of it's unique to your physiology too. Like, I have really long arms, and I might my tendons might insert different than somebody else that might not have a problem with it. It's so like that's why there's no one size fits all solution for exercise choice. Like for me, like squats are just really a lower back exercise for me. I'm tall guys. Squats kind of suck for tall guys. My legs blew up after I dropped squats and started doing hacks. Hacks are a better activator for me. All right, folks, I got to wrap this up. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Team, I love all of you. You're the best. Have a great week. Everybody go kick ass this week. We'll see you next weekend. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.